minute. So I'm gonna start recording here. All right. Here, and start sharing here. All right. Actually, this are the Himonko and the foundation part. Those two are the most difficult part in the Met3. I really had a hard time in that those two the the cast, but it's not really the actually the professors were nice enough that they don't give the like very difficult exams. So I was kind of lucky, and at that time I think at the time for this cast when I was in Med 3, the exams were NBME. So NBME questions are not very particularly picky, say. So for this like the Himonko and the foundations, immuno and then microbiology and that kind of stuff, it's not really very. It doesn't mean that it's not high yield. It is high yield actually. It's very high yield, but the questions are not really very difficult. Okay, so let me just escape. Okay, so we'll start the session now. All right. So if you basically what you need to know is I will just point out because in 2 hours the going of a whole thing in 2 hours is kind of almost impossible. So I will just go over what you really need to know. Okay. And then it will get you started. It will let you start medley strong. Okay. So I asked you in previous session that I asked you about the like sketchy and the persona, right? Those two things are very like highly recommend to you don't have to know all the details, but at least you have a feel of what you're going to learn in Med 3. So during this break I highly recommend you to kind of the just just to like watch it just as if you just playing the music, okay? The radio music for instance, like so just at least you have a feel about what you're going to learn, okay? So that's the important thing. So sketchy, in the previous session that the Sonny and Alex mentioned, but sketches, for problem with the sketches, there's some people, some I'd say about 70% of people like it, but the other people, the Hutchins, sure, what's his name? What's your name? Yeah, can you Charmaine? Yeah. It's kind of background noise. Okay, so uh, what about 70% of people like it, but the rest of the people, it's not like culturally culturally it's not the ring the bell for me, something like that. Okay, so but if you like it, sketch will help you a lot actually. It's just that you don't have to like listen very details, but what you do is like what I did was like just the played it on, and even if you are like taking shower, it's played it on. So it's just basically you just the get the feel out of it, okay, during the break, okay. And then Pesoma, at least chapter 1 through chapter 5, okay. I think chapter 4 and 5 are the what we are discussing today, and chapter 1 to 3 is a kind of general pathology, okay. So these concepts are very important. It will come out, it will haunt you all the way throughout your the career. Okay, so very important. All right, so let's start with the fetal erythropoiesis. So erythropoiesis means making blood. Okay, so in our body, in our adult body, the blood is made in the bone marrow. Okay. So in the fetus, it's not really a case because the baby. I mean, when you the first part of the zygote, you don't have a bone marrow, by the way. So you don't have any bone. So bone marrow means bone. This is a bone. Then marrow, inside of the marrow, that's a bone marrow. The baby, initial part of the baby don't have the bone, don't even have the bone. So obviously you cannot have the baby. I mean the bone marrow. But there's a reticuloendothelial system. Anyone know what reticuloendothelial system is? What does this mean? Reticulo. Okay. Endothelial, endothelial, right? Endothelial means there's something to do with blood, right? And then reticulo means, this, the kind of, it's a little bit of a misnomer, okay? So it's kind of network-like. So net-like. That's the like meaning of the reticulo. So, like a kind of these things. That's the reticuloendothelial. So what is kind of little bit about the ambiguous meaning, right? So let me tell you what really reticuloendothelial means. The right here, reticuloendothelial simply means some kind of cells, okay, along with the fibroblast that support the fibroblast, support the connective tissues or mesenchymal. So chimal. So mesenchymal support the fibroblast. So what that means is that if there's like a tissue here, tissue here, tissue here, say the muscle fibers or neural network, whatever that is, right? Then there's like some kind of the filling material, right? If you are packing something, then there's a filling material, right? Those are all kind of mesenchymal or the connective tissue, all those things is a name. The Another name for this is a yeah, it's a basically the it's a those all those things kind of other than the cells or tissues are the mesenchymal. Okay, so that mesenchymal is uh, filled with the fibroblast and then some blood and some other things, right? So lymphocytes and that kind of things, right? So those are all uh, collectively termed as the reticulocyte, reticuloendothelial system, because it's near near the blood vessel that support the blood activities. Okay, so that's a kind of really kind of ambiguous meaning. Okay, so what's the more important is that okay, what does the reticulous endothelial system do? That's more important. This is what is important. Important point is that their function. This is important. They are basically checkpoint for say blood vessels or not the blood checkpoint for the like red blood cells or white blood cells. So they will check if there's any defect on the cells. Okay, if there's any the defect or the cells are not really regular shape, then it will what it'll do is that there's the macrophage living inside of the reticuloendothelial cells, reticuloendothelial systems, meaning that like for instance, spleen macrophages. Okay, so spleen macrophage will check the blood coming into the spleen, and then spleen macrophage will check that those red blood cells, and then if there's any defect, it will eat up, it will destroy basically. Okay, and then recycle all the components. Okay, so that's how it works. So reticular is a very, very kind of ambiguous and confusing term, but don't get confused with this reticular endothelial the five systems. Basically, spleen, liver, those are the main two top kind of, reticular endothelial system. Okay, so go back to here. So that's where the it if the yolk sac was remaining in adult state, right? Then this could have been also reticular endothelial system, part of reticular endothelial system. But this one is only for fetal structure, so that's why it's not in the included. Okay, so basically, liver and spleen are the main thing. Okay, those are the reticular endothelial systems. Anyway, so when you are very, very young, I mean, meaning that in your fetal stage, the first thing, the organ that makes the blood is a yolk sac. Because at this stage, you don't have bone, you don't have anything. You don't have, really nothing to make the blood. So something has to be made. Yolk sac is basically nutritional tank, nutritional tank. So this support all the nutrition to the babies, and then it will also make the blood vessels. I mean the blood, okay, red blood cells, okay. And then as the organ was created, like liver and spleen, those are called reticular endothelial systems will be the developed. Then this will take over the making blood, and then toward the end of the fetal term, and then when you deliver, so newborn baby will start making the bones from, blood from the long bones, and then eventually in the adult state, it will be the axial the skeletons. Okay, so like sternums and that kind of stuff. Okay, so that's where the blood is made, and because of the reason that I'm emphasizing this is this is a one, kind of good, the one question type. Okay, so not very very high, but it will come up in the case. Okay, and also in the step 1 too. So this is basically the what our the blood, the lineage. Okay, so there is a record, the multipotent hematopoietic stem cell. This is the important thing is you need to know this one, CD34, hematopoietic stem cell, hematopoietic stem cell. Okay, so this one has a CD4 marker. Okay, so CD4, CD34. So CD marker is basically kind of name tag. Okay, so everyone has like a kind of school ID, right? So this is kind of ID number. Okay, so the hematopoietic stem cell has a ID number, the CD34. Okay, and then it's mainly it becomes in the myeloid the lineage, and then a lymphoid lineage. Okay, myeloid lineage, the lymphoid lineage basically is the B cell and T cells. Okay, B cell and T cells, all others are in the myeloid lineages. Okay, so this can be usually this one is from big cell becomes smaller, 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 smaller. Okay, so that's normally like this. Okay, with the exception, as far as I know, with the exception of this mega karyocyte. What happens is a mega karyocyte is a small blast cells, and then it becomes a little bigger, and then bigger, very, very big. That's why it's called mega karyocyte, right? And then what happens is it will break down in small pieces. Okay, so so it becomes like a platelet. So platelet is not really theoretically it's not a cell. It's just a piece of the megakaryocyte. But we consider this kind of cell though, but it's not really the full functional cells. Okay, so um, megakaryocyte breaks down into the small pieces of the platelets. That's why this will become big. Okay. Otherwise, all other cell types will be start with the blast cells will be huge, and then it becomes a smaller, 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 and then eventually the cells. Some of the cells, like for instance, like red blood cells, has a very, very the special functions. So most of these cells has their own special functions, like platelet for the coagulation cascade, and the red blood cell, the oxygen delivery, and the waste removal, and that kind of thing. Granulocyte, fight with the infections and that kind of stuff, right? So uh, red blood cell, for instance, is like basically from big cells and then tiny cells, and then that because it's a specialized cell. In this part, is a specialized cells. All the regular cell supposed to have those organelles, those are cells, the most like normal cells supposed to have some organelles, right? Many organelles. Those organelles is not there. For instance, like red blood cells don't even have a mitochondria, don't even have a nucleus. So its energy is only the anaerobic the pathway. So even that's fine, because their main function is basically carrying the oxygen and then CO2. So don't have to be to add other kind of stuff. It doesn't make any proteins and that kind of stuff. Okay, so this is what the lineage is, like a family tree. And then whenever you see blood, is basically in the blood, in the bone marrow. So this is bone marrow, and then this is a blood, and then final stages. Some of them is in the tissue or in the blood, because the red blood cells supposed, and those cells supposed to be in the blood, circulating blood vessels all the way, right? So their home is basically blood vessel. But the like macrophages and the Langerhans cells and those things, their home is basically skin and some other tissues, okay, Kupffer cells and that kind of thing. Okay, so those are the family tree of the hematopoietic stem cells. Okay, and the next thing, because what happened is that I will kind of this is I don't know how many pages. It's like 66 pages, but the more important thing is coming up in the later part, where we are talking about the oncologies. Okay, so I will kind of going through a little bit faster, and then I will skip some of the pages in the like first part, like anemia and those stuff. Because you already learned in the med one, right? And then also that's kind of it's more intuitive than the oncology part. So oncology part is very, very difficult, unless you are like really coming the pathology. The oncology part is one of the high yield but very hard to digest, because many of them, it's uses like very, very like the disease specific terminologies. Okay, so all right. Hemorrhagic disease of newborn simply means that when the baby is inside of the mother, there is some kind of hemolysis. If there's a hemolysis, if it's a minor hemolysis, that's fine. Baby can still survive. But if it's a major hemolysis, then means the baby cannot survive. So this is a very, very important, right? So uh, what you what you really need to know is the two things, right? Only like there are two types about the hemolysis occurring in during the fetal stage. ABO stages, age incompatibility is actually this is very, very common. Okay, so most of time this will occur, but the symptoms are very mild, and sometimes this will also the unnoticed abortion. This will cause unnoticed abortion. Okay, so there's a like this is kind of hypothesis. Some Asian the populations has Asian with the type A or B, I forgot, but and or maybe O, I'm not sure. But the blood type O probably has a more the early hemolysis, and that will cause the abortion at the early stage. So they don't even notice. Oh yeah, this was I just had a little bit of bleeding yesterday, but that was it, and then stopped. that probably could have been abortion, but early stage. Okay, so this, although the symptoms are mild, but that could cause the abortion, right? So since this one, if this the abortion becomes serious, I mean the hemolysis becomes serious early, very early stage, uh, you know, it's not there's no cure for that, because this is like a very common, and then everybody has like a ABO, right? So the this is very common, and then also they will die like even before like maybe 1 week stage or something, like very early stage. So they don't really bother with the like do any kind of medical treatment on this case. Okay, but just know that there's if there's like the incompatible, because what happens is what does I mean ABO stand for? A basically A means A type of antigen, right? B has a B antigen. Okay, so if there's a like A antigen, then you will not have an antibody at the same time, because antibody will eat up this one, right? So antibody will attack your own antigen, right? So you cannot have the A antigen if it's type A, right? So if what that means is that if the mom has a blood type A, and then baby has a blood type which has the antibody A antibody, meaning that the B type B, then he has a antibody, A antibody. So it will attack the mommy's the antigen, right? That causes the problem, right? So those hemolysis is very mild in general. But what's important is the RH incompatibility. Okay, so when this happens, the mom has the RH minus, and then first baby, if first baby occurs in the RH minus, then RH minus means a no antigen, right? So it's like RH, another name for this is D, okay? So no antigen against the, no D antigen, right? No D antigen. And then if the baby had like the RH minus too, so like, he has a like a D antigen, no, sorry. This if a baby is Rh positive, then he has the antibody, right? Antibody against the D antigen, right? So then antibody is formed. That antibody is if there's like theoretically, if there's no bleeding during the delivery, he'll be completely fine. But usually during the delivery, there's some the blood mixing with moms and then the babies, right? So then the baby's antibody will coming to mom's body, and then mom will uh, create the antibody against the D antigen. Okay, so antibody is formed, and then that will be ready to kill when the D antigen comes in. Okay, so what happens is in the second pregnancy, if the baby happen to have the Rh minus, then that he has a like D antigen. Okay, then this the mom's antibody will kill the antigen, so baby. So in order to avoid this, so you have to give the I think 27 weeks of the pregnancy. They test it, and then give this logam shot, logam. Okay, so that's how the logam works. Okay, all right. So and then this and let me see what I'll just go to the important point here, right? Here, this thing here, I just told you, megakaryocyte is a big, huge site. That's why it calls mega. And then it breaks down to small pieces. That's the small pieces is a thrombocyte, means a platelet. Okay. All right. And then master cells, and then the basophils. and the neutrophils, eosinophils are called granulocyte. See, if you see this one, you will see a lot of the small cells, small granules. That's why it's called granulocyte. Okay. So functions of the granulocyte is usually they are kind of fighting against some antigens. Okay, so basically, our body has a lot of like defensive systems. Okay, so that's the granulocyte is one of the big thing. Okay, so mast cell, what you need to know is like what kind of the antigens these cells will fight. Okay, mast cell find with like if master basically it will find against like the kind of most of them are innate systems. Okay, so the it will find against like some allergens. So it will cause if the first exposure, then the mast cell B will be the sensitized. Sensitized means that okay, pollen. So pollen comes in. Then oh yeah, this is kind of something kind of antigen. So he's gonna kill me. So I'm gonna make a defensive system. I'm gonna make a arm against it. So defensive arm. So that defensive arm is antibodies. Okay, he made the antibodies, and then okay, get ready for the second exposure. So antibodies here in the blood. There's a lot of antibodies here. Now then, if there's the second exposure, oh yeah, oh this, yeah, I know this guy. I'm gonna kill this guy. So it will be in the second exposure, pollen will bind to here, and then kind of the cross-linking. Cross-linking means that bind more than one the antibodies. So pollen will bind like this. Okay, then mast cell become activated, and then granule will be released. This this is like two fight against the pollen. So this is a good thing, right? So what's the really bad thing is that this guy will make the will protect us from antigens like pollens. Okay, but if it will at the same time it will kill our body too. So that's kind of side effect. Okay, so side effect of the granulocyte will cause the problem. Okay, so this will cause like allergies. Basically, what we call allergies is due to the mast cells. Okay, and then basophils is what you need to know is basophils is for CML. CML is basically this is a when the degranulation occurs and all these things. You don't have to know all of these things, but what you need to know, really need to know is like CML basophils, because basophils are, in terms of numbers, basophils are very, very low in general. A normal person has a low the count of the basophils. That's normal. But in CML, basophil count will be increased. So that's kind of unique. Okay. So whenever there's like a unique point, you need to know. All right. And then neutrophils, this is we discussed this in the immuno lecture, the other immuno session in the other session. Okay, so this is I will let the overemphasize it again. So what you need to know is that this is a multi nucleated. I mean not multi-nucleated, multi-lobular. So it's like multi-lobular, right? So when there's the megaloblastic anemia, then this lobula will be more than this is normally like a 3 or 4, that's normal, but this is like maybe 7 or something like this. Then oh, you will see that this is something wrong. If there's a problem with the neutrophils, in terms of the other nucleoside, I mean nucleoside, yeah. So then you will see that's going to be the megaloblastic anemia. Okay, so that's a unique it will called hypersegmented neutrophils. Okay, so that's a very, very important point. All right, and then eosinophil fight against the helminths. Helminths means like basically parasite or worm. because normally the granulocyte will kill the worm, kill the antigens by just eat them up, right? But then the eosinophil, like worms are huge. You cannot eat, you cannot eat this thing. It's not possible. So what eosinophil does is like basically inject the lethal weapon into the helminths, into the parasites, into the like worms. Okay, so that's what the eosinophil do. And monocyte and then macrophage, basically same thing. Monocyte, macrophage, Cooper cells, Langerhans cells, and they are all same thing. Basically, this name change whenever monocyte is in the blood vessel, is named monocyte. And then name will change when it becomes in into the tissue. It becomes the macrophages and Cooper cells, and then those are all basically same thing. Same, just same thing, just to change the name. And then macrophages has a very, of course, macrophages are very important in the immune system. Okay, so it is activated by Th1, yeah, Th2, I think Th2, activate the macrophages by this like you bind to the MHC2 and the like CD4, B7 and CD28, and those are kind of the reason that why you have like two the activation. Two say connection. One connection here. Let me just redraw it here. One connection here, B7 and CD28. Another connection is like CD4 receptor and then the MHC2 receptors. So the reason is that you don't remember if it's only one, it will be erroneously activating the macrophages or the immune systems. Then you're going to have a lot of immune responses. You don't want that, because the immune responses simply means that it's inflammation. It will cause inflammation. Inflammation is good. It is what it was designed very in good purpose, meaning that it was supposed to fight against the antigens, so that our body will be safe. That's our main purpose of the immune systems. But the problem is when there's too much, overly sensitively activated, we have a problem. Okay, so if it's only one connection only, then it will be very sensitive. Like we'll have the too sensitive the immune responses. Okay, so that was not good. Okay, and then another let me see. Yeah, so the Alex just mentioned that the M1 is activated, right? That's correct. Yes, right. So this one, let me see if I can show in the in the screen. Just a minute. Yeah, this one. Yeah, this is a very good picture here. Okay. So when it becomes M1, so macrophagy has like two names. It's like M1 type or M2 type. Okay, so M1 type is like a more kind of the pro-inflammatory, whereas M2 is like anti-inflammatory. So when M1 occurs, then because everything has to be kind of balanced. You don't want the like inflammatory plus stage always. You after you fight with the antigens, and then the immune system has to come to becomes like original state. So basically the when the damages occurs due to the pro-inflammatory stage, then your body is supposed to kind of clean up, right? So this M2 is like more the cleanup. So whereas M1 is kind of the fighter. M1 is fighter. M2 is the cleaner. Okay. That's all right. Okay. All right. And then here is like a here's a very good pic. Oh, what happened here? Okay. So this is a very good picture about the anemia, but it's a little bit kind of too simplified. Okay, so this is from the first stage. This is the anemia. Okay, anemia has a macrophysic and then microcytic and then macrocytic, depending on the MCB, right? Now there's the microcytic anemia. It's basically tail, right? The thalassemia, anemia chronic disease, and this. Plus, those are like the top four, the common cause of this anemia, right? But there's you need to have one more. It's a copper deficient. Copper deficiency will cause anemia too. Okay. So this one, you have to know this one. I'm not sure why the professor doesn't recognize, doesn't emphasize this, but this is kind of, kind of common condition. So you need to know this one, okay? So copper deficiency also causes the anemia, microcytic anemia, okay? So that you need to know. And then also macrocytic anemia, those are like megaloblastic anemia. That's what we are familiar with. Like when there's like the B9 or B12 deficiency, that will cause the megaloblastic anemia. If also, but that's not only the cause. So like there's other genetic conditions, diamond blackfin, and then the liver disease. Those in those cases also cause the macrocystic anemia. Okay, so just only when it's the B9 or the B12, then it is called megaloblastic anemia. Okay, so just know that. What's most important thing is this, in terms of the exam purpose, also in terms of the clinical, because there are many cases uh, due to this. Most common cause of anemia is iron deficiency anemia is the most common cause. That's the most common cause. But most important thing is this. Most common exam purpose. Okay, exam questions are coming from here. Okay, so let's just go over from here. Okay, all by the way, all even the iron deficiency anemia, most of the anemia start with the normocytic anemia. Okay, and then as the disease progresses, it will become either macrocytic or the microcytic. Okay, so at the beginning, most of time the normocytic anemia. Okay, and what I like to go over, just to distinguishing these two, uh, ACD, anemia of chronic disease versus the iron deficiency anemia. So what's the difference? The big difference is that when the bacteria comes in, bacteria loves the iron. Okay? Bacteria, because the bacteria has to have some iron to make their own the structures. So bacteria loves iron. So what happens is our macrophage, which is inside of the like reticular endothelial systems or the spleen or some other blood vessels or all these things. Then it knows, okay, oh, bacteria comes in, so I'm not gonna give the iron. So it will hide the not hide, but it kind of hold the say store store iron in the ferritin. Ferritin. Ferritin is the protein that inside of the macrophage. Macrophage, so iron storage space inside of the macrophage. Okay, so inside of the macrophage, ferritin will be stored, and the iron will be stored in the ferritin. Okay, so anyone tell me something? Okay, so the reason being is that it just prevent for bacteria usages. Okay, so ferritin is the stored form of the iron. Okay, so if the ACT, I mean, the anemia of chronic disease, if there's inflammation, say the bacteria comes in, so macrophage will store all the irons inside of the ferritin, right? So then, what's going to happen in the ferritin iron level? It will be increased, right? So that's the key difference point between the iron deficient anemia and then anemia of chronic disease. Also, this in chronic disease, inflammation will cause hepcidin. Hepcidin is the kind of the marker that acute inflammation. Acute inflammation occurs, hepcidin will be increased because it's kind of the kind of initiating the helping the immune responses. Okay, so that's the key different point. That's something you need to know, right? And then yes, this is just another picture from the first aid, and I'll just skip few pages and then lead poisoning. So whenever you see this here, this is like him the generation, right? So whenever you see something that has something to do with the like some materials, glucose, amine, the lead, and then I think there's it doesn't show the copper, but the copper is also in background. Copper is in the background of somewhere here. Okay, so that's why copper deficiency is not popularly the explained in the literature, but copper is a very popular cause of the microcytic anemia. Okay, so you have to know that. All right. So and then alpha thalassemia has like the alpha thalassemia and then beta thalassemia, right? So alpha has like unlike beta has like only two things consider, but alpha thalassemia can be here in two moms. So this is mom and then this is father. So mother side and then father side. It can be like, so basically you choose two and then out of four. So four choose two, right? So you have about 12 different combinations. So this one, if you look at this one, like minima, minor, the intermediate, major, this is a little bit confused because this is not all of the cases. Okay, altogether you can have the up to the 12 cases. But they consider it as only like this is like one of the most popular four types. Okay, so just know that. Okay, so just don't get confused. What I'm saying is like don't get confused that, oh, you know, we didn't learn for instance like like one like defective allele and then two defective alleles like this, right? There are like in two defective alleles, it can be in the say one alpha, one alpha. I mean, yeah, normal and one alpha, normal and one alpha. That's also possible, but which is not shown in here. Okay, so it's simply because they just simplified. They simplified it, but actually there are like 12 altogether 12 cases. Okay, so only four of these types are popular types. Okay, so don't get confused with this. Okay, so four choose two. Okay. All right, combination. Right. So, and the another big important point is that thalassemia as versus to say iron deficiency anemia. What do you think about the RDW? RDW. RDW means like variation, right? Standard deviation, variation. So how in terms of like size, say how diverse small size the RBC, big size RBC. There's there could be many variations, right? So in terms of RBC, in the thalassemia, it's a normal RDW means like the kind of not much of the variation, okay? But the iron deficiency anemia has a big RDW, big RDW. Do you know why? Because basically iron deficiency anemia is like occurring like the kind of over time, right? So say you have some, oh, I need some the more blood, red blood, more red blood cells. Then it'll make some time. It'll make some red blood cells. And then after maybe 1 week later, then oh yeah, I need more RBC. So just make new RBCs. So new RBCs coming up, coming over time, right? But thalassemia is basically you need RBC, tons of RBC right now. Okay, so after counting 1, 2, 3, let's go, and then they all make the RBC at the same time. So that's why normal LDW. Everything is kind of no variation because on 1, 2, 3, and then on 3 they just make the RBCs at the same time. But iron deficiency the RBC is made over time. So I make some maybe 100 RBCs today, and then maybe I had enough for like next 2 weeks, and then I had another RBC, another set of RBCs, few set of RBCs, maybe a few days later, that kind of things. Okay, so that's why RDW is a big the differentiating factor between the what causes thalassemia, like not only thalassemia, anything, if there's any genetic or some gene problems or that kind of problems, that cause that this kind of the if anemia was due to this kind of genetic conditions or some kind of external factors, that RDW is will be about same because they need like tons of the RBC at the same time. But the any chronic diseases like the iron deficiency anemia or the something like nothing to do with like genetic conditions, right? Or some kind of dramatic environmental factors, then RDW will be big because there's a lot of variation. Because some RBC was made yesterday, some was made in today, and some was made in 2 weeks later. That kind of thing. Okay. So another thing is that this thing is I think this what name of this is some kind of this I forgot the name of this thing. Okay, what happens is that this thing is because of what happens is that this thing is you need thalassemia. You need like RBC badly, very badly. I need like I'm dying, so I need like RBC right away. I need to make a I need to utilize all kind of bones the in our body, so make the RBC right away. So it will try to make the all bones, not only the like the like sternum or axillary skeleton. It will make all bones. All sometimes it goes to the reticular endothelial systems like a liver, spleen, and I just utilize every possible factory in our body to make the RBC. So this is one of them. I'll just make it RBC right away. I need the RBC right away. So it will make red blood cell prematurely. So it because I need it right away. So it will just keeps okay. So even if it's not fully functional, it will just oh let it go, let go. Yeah. So go to the the blood vessels and then do the job. But and the that RBC is not very functional. Okay, but doesn't matter because I need it right away. I'm dying. Okay, so that's why this occurs. Okay. I think it's a helmet, something like that. Okay. All right. So that's something you need to know. And then hemolysis. Hemolysis is basically job of the spleen macrophages, or there is some kind of some problem in the blood vessels. Okay, so what happens is every blood will have to go through the checkpoint. Okay, when you go to the airport, there's the checkpoint, right? So everybody has to go through that checkpoint. This is the spleen is the kind of checkpoint. Okay, so when there's something wrong with the blood vessels, I mean the red blood cells, spleen macrophage will check, and then okay, eat up or the destroy. Okay, that's the extravascular hemolysis. But it can happen in the blood vessels too. If there, for instance, sickle cell anemia. So sickling, I mean, it can happen in both actually. Sickle cell anemia, it can happen in the blood vessel coming in, and then in the spleen macrophages. So you see that okay, there is some problem in the red blood cell. That can happen, but also that can happen inside of the blood vessel too. Okay, so for instance, like there could be the intravascular hemolysis. For instance, like microangiopathic the hemolysis anemia. So that's like MAHA, microangiopathic hemolytic anemia. MAHA occurs when there's a problem in the blood vessels. The blood vessel has some kind of narrowing or whatever the cause, that causes the red blood cell cannot go through. So red blood cell cannot go through, then it will be, say this is like a red blood cell. Red blood cell supposed to have a kind of very flexible. The region that has a kind of this shape, it's very, very flexible. So it goes through like this shape and then goes through normally. But if there's like a narrowing or some, whatever the reason that this blood vessel is not like a, normally, the width for the red blood cell, there's a problem. Then this will become like this, cut. Red blood cell supposed to be like this, it will become cut like this. So this is called schistocyte. Schistocyte. Okay. So this is a like hemolysis, because hemolysis means like lysis, hemolysis. Okay. So when this is happening, what's going to happen when the hemolysis occurs? What will be the diagnostic thing? LDH will increase, because LDH is basically inside of the blood vessels, in the inside of the red blood cells. So whatever is inside will be increased. So red blood cell increase, I think it's not shown in here, but in terms of ions, potassium will be increased too. Okay. So also if the body's reaction to it is the EPO will increase, because I need the I just destroyed so many the red blood cells. I need more to make. So the EPO will increase, and then let me see. Yeah, and then also the another big thing is the indirect bilirubin. So bilirubin is unconjugated and then conjugated, right? Unconjugated means that when the red blood cell is like a lysis, it becomes hemolysis basically, and then it will become red blood cell is like lysis, then it will become unconjugated. We didn't do anything to the bilirubin yet, right? So unconjugated bilirubin. So basically, unconjugated bilirubin is fresh from the red blood cell. Okay, it will come to the liver and then conjugate it, and to go through the conjugation process inside of the liver, and then they'll be secreted into the bile duct, and the help the digestion, right? And then it will be recycled, right? So unconjugated bilirubin will be increased. See here. Indirect bilirubin is another name for unconjugated bilirubin. Okay, right. So, so this is a important marker for that. All right. Now the sickle cell anemia is obviously this is one of the very very important topic. But it's the what you need to know is this thing. You can have a globin S and globin C chain. Okay, valine is a mutate glutamate, I think. Glutamate becomes valine. It's like a missense mutation. Then it will become the globin S chain mutation. And then if it's the lysine, it becomes the C chain mutation. Hemoglobin C, the hemoglobin S. Okay. The problem is hemoglobin S is it's not really a fully functional globulin. Okay. So if there's like one S, it's kind of okay, but still not good. Okay. But the 1C also, is 1C and 1S. And then if there's a two S's, that's a problem. Okay. So, so usually the beta chain is a problem. So alpha chains are usually okay. But beta chain has like one S, like one beta and one S. It's kind of okay, but it's called the trait. But I think this is like 55%. 55 is something kind of cutoff line that if it's more than 55%, then you don't call it the trait. You call it sickle cell disease. But if it's less than 55, you'll call it the trait. Okay. So this is like a very, very common condition. If in here, these things are all the basically broken down the red blood cells, like these things. All those are like the schistocyte. This has like many schistocyte here. It's not good. Okay. So schistocyte is basically a broken down red blood cell. All right. And and then the paroxysmal the PNH. So what you need to know is that this one is a problem. It's kind of immune response. So what happens is there's a complement activation to fight against the antigens, right? So any kind of immune system is good for us. It was designed to help us, to protect us. But if there's some damage to it in the immune system, or if it's too much, then that will attack ourselves, which is not good. Okay. So what happens is there is like the CD55 and 59, which is supposed to the like fight against the like a complement, so that complement is not too much. Okay, so that's what their job is. But then if there's a lack of these two things, then complement doesn't have the like controller. Basically, it will be just overactive. Okay, so the over complement job is basically it will eventually form MAC and then lysis, right? So that's what the job is. So complement will be just activating uncontrollably. So it will kill the cells like this. Okay, lysis. But this is why is it occurring only through the night? So the reason is that actually this is very, very common condition. Okay. So what happens is during the nighttime, you don't breathe like your breathing will be very, very less. So you're hypoventilating. And then in other words, your the CO2 will be high. Okay. CO2 will be high, more complement will be because the CO2 is high, then a complement will try to protect us. But then so more active. So if there's more active, then there has to be some kind of the inhibitory process. So by CD5 and CD55 and CD59 will just kind of control the complemented overactivity. but then there's no CD 55 and 59, and then it will become overly active, and then that causes that happens during the nighttime because of the CO2 is because of the CO2 is low. I mean, CO2 is high during the nighttime. Okay, all right, and the hereditary sclerosis cytosis is also similar condition, but this is the totally different the mechanism. So mechanism here is the membrane. Every cell has to have some kind of, we have a bond, right? The cells have some kind of cytoskeleton. Cytoskeleton. Cytoskeleton means cytoskeleton. Cytoskeleton means that the kind of the connective tissue that forms the cells, so that it cells have some kind of shape. Okay, so if there's no cytoskeleton, then cells will be like this. There's the what is it, endothelium reticulum or RER, SER, and peroxisome, and that kind of thing. Cells will be like this. Not good, right? So it has to have a some kind of form, right? So cell has like some kind of membrane protein. Also, there's some kind of cytoskeleton, so that the cells will like almost like a spear. Okay, spear kind of shape. So that's the cytoskeleton's job. Now this membrane protein that makes the membranes, which is the making the cytoskeleton is defect. So what you need to know is not only the cytoskeleton defect. You need to know the name of the cytoskeleton, I mean, the proteins that forms the cytoskeleton, which is spectrin and then ankylin. Those two are there. I think there are two more, but those two are the most popular: spectrin and ankylin. Okay, that's what something you need to know, right? Another thing is that G6 speed deficiency. This one is also the problem with the problem with the cell membrane. But what happens is here is that when there's an oxidative stress, oxidative stress, oxidative stress, meaning that there's like a lack of the oxygen. Oxidative stress simply means the lack of oxygen. If there's a lack of oxygen, then this free radical will form, and then it will just yes. So it's oxidative stress is basically the something like a lack of, not necessarily lack of oxygen. It will kind of uh, uh, like a defect in the oxygen utilization. Okay, so this will cause the this will be basically, or either ischemic is also one of the defect in oxygen utilization, or there is some problem with oxygen utilization which causes a free radical damages. Okay, in our body, free radical will be continuously formed. Okay, to fight against the pathogens, and to just to like kind of the collect the like the destroys the debris, which was generated like waste product. Okay, so this is kind of when you have a like when you dump the some waste product in the dumpster, and then eventually goes to the like very huge the garbage collectors, and they put some chemicals in it to kind of neutralize that the waste product, right? So it's just kind of free radical has that kind of functions. Okay, if that the free radical function is not is defective, that's what happens. So here, like the NADPH and then NAD plus is uh, it will just continuously kind of suckling. So GSH, I think GSH is the oxidative form, and then this is the non-oxidative form. So either way, so that will continuously happens to make the free radicals, and then to reduce the free radicals, and then that kind of cycle has to be always always has to be happening. Otherwise, it's the problem. If there's only one reaction that continuously make free radicals, that's not good. Okay, so what you need to know here is that unlike other problems, right? Unlike other problems, this one has something to do with the infection. Infection it will cause infection. Also, because the free radicals function is like fight against the infections, but that function is disabled in our case. So that this stress, another important thing is that cause of this infection, the cause of the symptom is fababins, and then some sulfa drugs, okay, and then infections, okay. So those are the very, very important points that you need to know, all right? All right. And then there's like warm, cold agglutation, warm agglutation. Simply means that when there's a warm temperature, it will agglutate, like a clump together. Cold agglutation is clump together. And then there's some etiology, like the mycoplasma, and then Epstein-Barr, and then CLL has both. CLL has both the cold and warm. That's what you need to know, right? And you know this other megaloblastic anemia. And then I will just skip this other part. Hemostasis is not because it's important. It is very, very important, but I'll just skip that part because it's I would like to get to the oncology part. And one thing you need to know is Bonasol is 1B. 1B deficient, GP1B, and then the Glanzmann is 2B3A. So the way I remember is 1B. It's both 1B is like binding to the bone wilderness factor, right? And then the 2B3A is like connecting the platelets together. Okay, so the way I remember is that it's just short, right? 1B. And then bind only one the bone mineral factor, and then the 2B3A is a long, right? Long letters, right? And then glands is the pineal gland is like long, right? And then 2B3A. So that's how I remember. Okay, all right. And then let me see. These ones basically, I don't know why they keep putting in the same category, and this versus this. These are like totally different the pathogenesis, and then it's supposed to be not related at all, but they always put this together just because of their symptoms are similar. Okay, but this and this are not same at all, not even similar. I mean, it's just not related at all. It's a totally different thing, two totally different mechanisms, but then they put that always in the same similar category just because of their the symptoms are similar. Okay, the way you distinguish it in terms of symptoms is more neurological symptoms, TTP, more the nephrological kidney function related. That's going to be the HUS. Okay, so but their pathomechanism is very, very different. Okay. Right. Okay, what happened here? Okay, and then the medications, okay, so you need to know that too. So let me go back to this one. Oh yeah, DIC, you need to know everything about the DIC. Very, very, very important concept you need to know, okay? So especially these things are very high yield. Platelet will be decreased. Why? Because the DIC basically is the hypercoagulable to hypocoagulable because used up, platelet used up. Okay, this is what you need to know. Those supposed to be high is like there's some damages or some infections. Then there are some bleeding, and then the platelet will be recruited, and a lot of platelet will action, and then they will make a lot of clots here and there, right? A lot of thrombosis, and then that thrombosis used up all the platelet. So now you don't have any more platelet, then you are start bleeding. Okay, uh, so basically consum, consumptive consumptive thrombocytopenia. This is the terminology, consumptive thrombocytopenia. Okay, so you used up all the platelet. That's why you are bleeding. Okay, that's the important point. So bleeding time is high. This is a very, all those things. You need, basically TIC, you need to know everything inside and out. Very, very important. Okay. It will be definitely on the exam. That's for sure. Good idea to review your coagulation cascade and platelet plug formation for that nodule. Yes, this one is a very, very important. I am sure you had this kind of concept when you're in Med 1 or Med 2, right? So you need to know this thing. I mean, med one, med two, right? Med two, in the cardio section, you learn this, right? It's very, very important. Okay. Another important concept here is warfarin. Warfarin, you need to know 1972 disco. Okay. 1972 was when the disco was first become popular. Okay. So there were a lot of discotheque and that kind of things, right? In 1972 disco. So so what I mean is like 10, 9, 7, 2 CNS. Okay, those are the factors. Okay, now the important point, the CNS is very, very important, because 1972, I mean, it's only for the coagulation. These are like a coagulating, but CNS breaks down coagulation. So in other words, this one will be anticoagulation. Okay, those are things that you need to know. Very, very important. Because if it's anticoagulant, for instance, if you have a CNS deficient, what's going to happen? You don't have anticoagulant. So in other words, it will be coagulated. So it will be more thrombo. You have a more clotting. Okay, so that's the thing. The protein C and protein S. This is the other 5 and 8. I think this one is a more 5 and then 8. This is more like 8, something like this. But this is not very important, but this has a opposite effect than the coagulation, okay? The reason that the protein CNS deficient is a problem is that this will, so everything has a half-life, right? I mean, 1972, right? So everything has half-life. Every factor, every protein, everything in the life basically has a half-life. It will eventually disappear, right? So among those, like 1972, 10972, and then the CS, everything will be eventually disappear. But I think these two appears the very first, disappears. Then, so if you don't have this thing, then first thing will be more uh, coagulation. So that's the problem. Okay. So uh, so uh, another thing is that this is like due to the vitamin K deficiency. If there's a vitamin, because the warfarin will is the anticoagulation, right? Anticoagulating agent, and it will basically inhibiting the 1972, right? So if you inhibiting this, and then also it will also inhibit this too, right? But this will just disappear first. Okay. Now then, up when you have like too much warfarin, then what's going to happen is that the you will have like too much warfarin. you don't have it will be inhibiting 1972, so it will cause anticoagulation, right? So no coagulation, right? And then it also inhibit the CNS. It will cause coagulation, right? So the problem is warfarin toxicity. Warfarin toxicity is very, very important. And then also when warfarin toxicity is a similar presentation, too much of this, so then the too much bleeding. That's the warfarin toxicity, and that's this is warfarin toxicity is a very, very important thing. And then that's why also you need the heparin, warfarin, the sequence. So the reason is that the heparin has to go first, I think. Let me see. I think you need to keep the heparin first. Heparin is, yeah, heparin is first. Then because of the warfarin takes some time, so you warfarin bridge. So before warfarin makes some inhibiting factors, coagulation inhibiting factors, the heparin has to used up. Okay, so yes, this is like it's like a short half life. So the heparin comes in first, and then the warfarin bridge. So at the beginning of the warfarin the therapy, you need to fill the gap with the heparin. Otherwise, if you use the heparin, warfarin from the beginning, then it will, rather than it will the anticoagulate, it will become coagulate because you are inhibiting this thing. Okay, because inhibiting this thing will cause the coagulation. Okay, so that's why you need to use the heparin first. Okay. All right, and yeah, this one is I think Alex discussed about this the first session and the second session. Okay, so this one, obviously, the drugs are very, very important. You will have to probably the best source. There are many, many other sources, but at least you need to know what is in the appeared in the first stage. These two are very, very important. Okay. Okay. Acute myeloid leukemia. There are basically, this is like a cell lineage. This is CD34, right? And then there's the myeloid lineage, and then the lymphoid lineage, right? Lymphoid lineage means like B cell and T cells, and then this is all other cells. Okay. And then sometimes they call it like the NK in this other lineage. The lymphoid lineage. So B cell, T cell, NK. Okay. And then basically when this occurs in here, the problem in here, all comes from the same parent, right? So all these the cell lineage are coming from same the parent cells, right? Parent stem cells. So there's no such thing as like only completely normal, and then only this is a problem. There's no such thing as like this, okay? Because they are coming from the same like the parents. So if you are like there's no such thing like have you ever seen the family that one guy, one brother is like they're homeless, and then the other brother is like world famous richest person. It cannot happen, right? So they usually kind of similar situation, right? So even if like some brother has like a very rich, but some brother is a little bit the poor, but not really extremely poor and then extremely rich. That doesn't happen, right? So this is like a similar situation. So if there's a problem here, there's a slight problem here too. Okay, so all goes together, but it's just that which has the most prominent problem. So that's the like main thing that you need to know. Okay. So there are many the things to for you to memorize this, but I really hate memorization. So but there are things that you need to like kind of highlight things. So I'll just highlight few things that you have to know. Okay. AML. Okay. AML here is like I highlighted with the like the highlighters. Okay. So the 21 less than 5 years old. Okay. AML. If it's the like if it's another, if it's older than the 5 years old, then the ALL. Okay, so most common cause of the like for the blood related the cancer, the leukemia. Most common leukemia for children is Bill Clinton's. What do you mean? Bill Clinton's brother is poor? Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah. Right. Okay, anyway, so the ALL is most common, but the for younger children, AML is more common. Okay, whenever the cancer occurs in the young children, usually they are very curable. Okay, it's they are very quick to get treated. So what happens is in like the there's a like lymphoma. I think I'm not sure whether I have whether I have that slide. Oh, it's not there. Okay. So lymphoma. What's the difference between lymphoma and then leukemia? Okay. Lympho. Okay, let me write it here. Yeah. Let's see. How can I let her in? Okay. Yeah. Lymphoma, and then leukemia. Leukemia simply means white blood cell, right? White blood cell. Mia means in the blood, low in blood. So white blood cell is low in the blood. That's what the leukemia means. What's the lymphoma? Lymphoma, right? So it's the kind of tumor in the lymph vessels. Okay, that's the lymphoma. It can be lymph vessels, or it can be lymph node. Okay, so lymphoma is a tumor, whereas leukemia is in the blood vessel. In the blood, there's a white blood cells low. That's what the leukemia means. Okay, so the main thing is that it can be either from leukemia. It starts from lymphoma, and then it will eventually turn to leukemia, or vice versa. Okay, that can happen. Now the problems, which is bad? No, you cannot say that which is bad or which is good. But let me give you the analogy. This is kind of the milk, and then this is kind of the butter. What I mean is like this one is milk is kind of watery and very fluid and that kind of thing, right? Butter is kind of more kind of the solid, but it's not really exactly solid, hard solid, right? It's kind of a solid dish, okay? It's the kind of it's kind of the slow moving, okay? But whereas leukemia is in blood, so blood is fast moving, much fast moving, okay? So um, so that's the only difference. But the it can happen in one side to the other side. Okay, it can progress to the other side too. Okay, so that's the difference. And the like there, like I said, in AML has a many subtypes. It can be the let me see. It can more in this side, more like more of the megakaryocyte, and then more of the erythrocyte. Then it will call the I mean essential thrombocytopenia. Yeah, this if this was coming here, then essential thrombocytopenia, and if it's coming in here, I think APML or something like that. Okay, so there's a different names for subtypes, but those types will occur usually at the same time, but which is most severe, that's causing the particular the name. Okay, why is it so moving so fast? Where are we now? Okay, we are right here. Okay. And another thing, very important thing in terms of the histology. Okay, I'm gonna show you one very unique histology that you will see plasma cell. Let me see, where's the plasma cell here? If you see this, if you know this, the histology, then yeah, this one right there. This picture. Just remember this picture, this cell. Plasma cell is very unique shape. If you see like a kind of eccentric, they call it eccentric, the nucleus, and then plenty of I mean like plenty of the cytoplasm. Okay, eccentric nucleus. So meaning that it's not in the center. It's kind of kind of here, side on the side. Eccentric nucleus. This is this. That's a plasma cell. This will make a big. Just knowing this will make a big difference. It will help you, distinguishing this from other diseases big time. By just looking at this, oh, this has something to do with the plasma cell. Plasma cell, the plasma cell, like tumor or plasma cell problems. Okay, so know that the histo. Okay, that histo is very important. Okay, so the chronic, and then the difference between chronic and the ALL is oh, before that, another thing is that this thing AML has something to do with the MPO, and then lineage, the lymphoid lineage has something to do with TDT. When it's AML, I mean when it's the myelin the lineage, MPO, lymphoid lineage, TDT. Okay, so you need to know this thing, right? And then there are the many the translocations, because basically the tumor or any kind of the tumor or the cancer or sarcomere, I mean the sarcoma or those things, all mostly basically have to have some kind of a triggering event, right? Triggering event usually has the translocation. Translocation means that they're like, for instance, 9 to 2. In chromosome 9, and then chromosome 22 has translocated. So maybe show them and then show them here, and then they kind of translocated to, like say, for instance, this, this like this, and then A, B, C, D, say A and D instead of A, B, okay? And then C and then D, like this. So this is like the translocation, okay? So this when this translocated, something like this, okay? So the translocation is a big, the things that you need to know, okay? That let me see, there's a like lymphoma has a lot of translocation. So here, you will see the here, the follicular lymphoma, and then hereditary leukemia. I mean hereditary leukemia, and then the mantle cell lymphoma, and that kind of stuff, right? So these things are this thing will be very, very the popular topic for the exam. Okay, so a lot of memorizations here, which I don't like. But so I kind of made kind of the memory how I'll just explain how I remember it. Okay, buckets lymphoma, buckets, right? Bucket, right? So it looks like 8, right? So 8. So that's why I 8, and then 14. Chromosome 14 is the location where the immunoglobulin has this shape, right? The light chain and heavy chain, right? Light chain is made in 14, chromosome 14. So what does that mean? If there is some inflammation or something, right, infection or something like that, then your body will make the immunoglobulin big time, right? So chromosome 14, if you have something that translocated with the chromosome 14, chromosome 14 is like a fastest acting, say, operating factory. So if you wanna make like something very, very fast, if you have a choice of like say utilizing any of the facilities, what would you utilize? I would utilize like something very, very the factory with the very fast machine, right? So this is what that is. Fastest the factory is the 14 in the chromosome 14. So because it will make heavy chain of the immunoglobulin. Okay. So so 14 is like a big the factory, very like fast factory. So I translocate with the 8 with whatever the other chromosome with the 14, then I can make a many things of that I want that will make the many monoclonal things. So the cancer cells will make a monoclonal thing, meaning that supposed to have, like, for instance, if we have the light chain and heavy chain, supposed to have a balance, right? Supposed to have like this balance. But then if we are making only heavy chains like this, not good. Only like one heavy chain, one only light chain, then it's not good. These things are like wasted. But the cancer cells don't care about this. Cancer cells, all they care about this. Cancer cells are very, very the selfish. So what they don't care about the functionality of the tissue. What they care is just to proliferate. That's all they care. So in order to proliferate fastest, I use the factory 14. Factory 14 is making heavy chains very fast. So I translocate. What I did is what I have 8. Then I translocate utilizing factory 14. Okay. So that's what the bucket lymphoma 8 and 14. Okay. So follicular lymphoma, same thing. Follicular lymphoma, I utilize 14, and then I am 18. I utilize the 18 with the 14 factory, fastest factory. Okay. So 11, 14, same thing. 11, I meant 11. I like utilize the number of factory 14, same thing, right? So all pockets, and then the follicular, and then mantle cell, all have the 14 in it. Okay. Translocate with the 14. So follicular lymphoma is very easy to recognize, right? I didn't even have to look at it. There's a follicle, follicle, follicle. I think there's another picture that has a more obvious follicle. Um, Follicular lymphoma usually has a very easy thing to solve in the question, because usually they give the pictures like this, with a lot of follicles. You'll see obviously, oh, this is a follicle. You'll just see that follicles. Obviously, follicular lymphoma has a follicle. Okay, so this is a follicle. This is a follicle. Okay, so something you need to know. And then also the another thing you need to know is that hair cell leukemia. Hair cell leukemia, although that doesn't have the the kind of obvious translocation, but hair cell leukemia is kind of unique. So we done follicular lymphoma. Follicular lymphoma is a heavy chain. I mean the translocation 14 and 18, and then the 18. Okay, so 18 is for the do you know BCL? I think BCL is like the in apoptotic pathway. The BCL is one of them. That mitochondria is protected by the BCL. So stabilizing the mitochondria is the BCL's function. That function is a defective. It is defected the BCL, and then it is defected because of we use the 14 factory. 14 factory is like a fast producing, mass producing factory. That it doesn't matter if it's functioning or non-functioning. It will just produce the like many things at very quick manner. So the many of them are non-functioning. So they will, or it's like defective functioning. That's what the follicular lymphoma is. Okay. So anyway, so the BCL is kind of protecting the mitochondria, but then that protection will be gone because of this defective the this factory 14 will generate the defective the BCL. Okay. So another thing you need to know is like the hairy cell leukemia. Hairy cell leukemia, you will see. Let me see if there's anything in here. Maybe, but yeah, this thing right there. If you look at, this, there's like a little kind of hairy, like this one, right? That's a hairy cell. Hairy cell. Hairy cell. Okay. So what this means is that if there's a hairy cell, this is, although the description here is kind of it's very kind of it's kind of the flurry or the kind of cytoplasmic, that kind of things, but that's not actually true. This the hairy cell is kind of big. As compared to this one, this is big, right? So since this is big, so it cannot come out of the bone marrow easily. Okay, so it will be trapped. It will be trapped in the bone marrow, and then it will become trap positive. Okay, so also this one, this is say bone marrow. Although it doesn't say in here, but the bone marrow, but hairy cell leukemia, in hairy cell leukemia, so the basically body need like I need the cells. I need the B cells. This is one of the B cells. Okay, so I need the B cells right away. I have an infection, or I have a like I'm lack of B cells. So give me the B cells. Send him some B cells. But in the hairy cell leukemia, the B cells are not like really good B cells, right? So although it's like a defective cells, I just need it right away. So it will come out of the hair cell leukemia cell B cells. Okay. So this cell will try to come out of the bone marrow prematurely, and then try to squeeze through that although there's like this, say this was like an exit. This was like a exit, regular door for the cell supposed to come out. Then hairy cell, looking in the hairy cell is kind of this cells is not like smooth. Okay, so So try to come out, and it will become like this. Because it just becomes like, cannot come out in normal shape. It will come out like a kind of, like when you squeeze out with something, when you squeeze like when in the toothpaste, when you squeeze the toothpaste, and then it will become like this, right? So it's similar thing. So it squeeze things out, then hair cell becomes like this when it come out. So it's called teardrop cells. Okay, so teardrop cells means that when you see the teardrop cells in the blood smear, then you will see that this guy's the body is not, the body is just need that kind of cells badly. He need like the body asks, okay, come send me B cell right away. So B cell was prematurely the coming out of the tried to come out of the bone marrow, and then it became like a teardrop. Okay, so something that you need to know is I'm not just explaining in the kind of analytically. This is the basically this is scientifically true, not just not the not I'm not just saying kind of analytically. Okay, so this is like truth. Okay, teardrop cells. Whenever you see teardrop cells, it's a serious condition. Okay, so in other words, hairy cell leukemia, not good. The prognosis is bad, okay? So, uh, and also, this has a no B symptoms. Why? Or no lymphadenopathy. Why? Because this was basically, in order to have a lymphadenopathy, or lymph node has to be proliferate, right? Lymph node has to be some cells, like say B cells in this case. B cells has to be proliferated. What happens is here, bone marrow has hard time to secreting that cell. So cells become the teardrop because it takes, in order to have a teardrop cells, that bone marrow takes longer time to secrete those cells. Although body requires that, body is asking, okay, body is asking, send me the T cell right away. I mean, B cell right away. So body try, I'm trying, but it's not coming out. I'll just schedule as quick, as much as possible. So it became like this defective teardrop cells. But the number of these cells in the blood is not good. It's not high. So that's why it's a lot of in the bone marrow because the cells are being made, but number of cells that comes into blood and then that goes into the lymph node is not that much. So that's why no B cells, no B symptoms, or no other lymphadenopathy. Okay, so understand that pathophysiology is important. Okay. And then marginal zone is also 11, and then for the marginal zone is the only one that has a kind of 11 and 18, not 14. Okay, so the way I remember is that the mental zone. Okay, mental cell. I just remember it as like this guy has a mental problems. So people have the mental problems. Like maybe the people who had a mental problem is trying to ride a bicycle. So cycle. And the cycling, the third is cycling. And then, cycle has like level two cycles, right? Two, then two the wheels. So cycle. And then also, 14 is a factory, right? So that's what I just remember it. And then also the marginal zone is the only thing that is, because it's marginal, you don't have any kind of, the regular type of the transcription. It has like 11 and 18. I mean, that's how I remember. So you don't have to remember it that way. Anyway, so those are all B cell problems. Okay, B cell type. Most of the non-Hodgkin's lymphoma is a B cell type, and then there are only three, yeah, the T cell types. Okay, so it's a T cell type is like less common, but mostly the B cell. But there is like a mycosis fungoides, and then Sézary. I think one of them, this one goes into here, right? So this is if it's the mycosis fungoidosis only in the like in the skin only. So right there, skin only. And then if it's if it goes blood, then it becomes the surgery symptoms. Okay. And then there's the other T-cell lymphoma, but the more popular name for this is HTLV. Okay. So those are the things that you need to know. This is like a really and another, let me see if there's anything. And then also very important thing is a multiple myeloma. This will be very popular topic in the exam as well as in the other step one. This one, because of one of the reason this is popular is a lot of other integration with other things. And also this is also in fact it's a very popular too in the clinically too. So very important that you need to know this thing. The because it involves with the plasma cell, and then also involves with the also involved with like the bone. Okay, so that's why it's important. Plasma cell, I told you about the plasma cell, right? This shape, plasma cell. So that's one thing, whenever, as soon as, because usually they show the histologic picture like this. So as soon as you see this picture, oh, there's a plasma cell. Then your differential will be only your differential will be only few. Your differential will be multiple myeloma or this one, the the MGOS, and then the Waldenstrom. Only three things. So it's by just realizing that this picture is the plasma cell is a good advantage for you. Okay. So the thing is that things you need to know is that the MGOS, I mean the electrophoresis. If you do the electrophoresis, let me show you the picture. Let me see if I can find the picture. I think I forgot to include that picture. It's right here. Yeah. Oh, the picture is not in here. Okay, so I'll use this picture here. So this picture here. So so this one M is called M spike. Okay. But the one thing confuse you will, this M spike does not mean that IgM. Okay, it's not IgM. It's the IgG. Okay, so it's the M spike is there. That's the multiple myeloma. Okay, so that's something you need to know, and the also there's the CRAP, the CRAP. So hypocalcemia, or sometimes uh, sometimes it's creatine in high. Yeah, some creatine is high, but so hypocalcemia is something you need to know. Hypocalcemia, and then creatine high, so kidney problem, right? And then the R is like a renal problem, and then anemia. Anemia simply means understandable, because in anemia means the I told you that the same parent has this thing, right? All this thing. So this is a problem. Then this also other other cells are problem too, right? So this has a problem. This is like too many of this thing. Then means like some defect in here. So defective the too many of these other plasma cells means that the other cell types, other like red blood cells, also has a problem. Okay, so so that's the anemia, and then also the important thing in the here is called Lule formation. Lule is like something like this one. Why is it? I don't know. Yeah, this thing right there. This thing. This is the low level. Okay. So I think this has something to do with some kind of the electron, the positive and negative charge, that kind of things. Okay, so you don't have to know the details, but that's how I read somewhere. Okay, so that's the multiple myeloma, and the one important thing is that you need to know punch out regions. So right there, right there. That's a punch out region. Okay, so that's very unique in the lytic regions. It's called sometimes called lytic regions. Okay, and then let me see. Yeah, that's because plasma. The multiple myeloma is very common condition in the exam and then in the clinic. So very important. Okay, so you need to roll DIC and the multiple myeloma. I recommend you to very pay attention to the classes that when you take this topic. Okay, and then also similar differential diagnosis as like MGOS and then Waldenstrom. So MGOS is basically and the Waldenstrom is basically the IgM is high only. Okay, only IgM, not IgG, because in the multiple myeloma is IgG. Dubai. But the Waldenstrom only IgM, the IgM is high. Okay, but the also MGOS is basically MGOS is a multiple myeloma minus CRAP. So CRAP symptom is not there, but it's all other symptoms are there. Okay, but it's kind of weaker version of the multiple myeloma. Okay, and the that's the thing the input you need to know. And let me see what else. Pulsatemia vera is the basically the what you need to know is like a JAK2 mutation. JAK2 mutation here, that's the important thing. And then also the polycythemia vera is basically too many red blood cells, right? So too many red blood cells, what's the problem? Too many red blood cells is good, right? I want to have like too many, I mean, I have like, if I have like more red blood cells, that will be good, right? No, not necessarily, because problem is this any of these tumors is not really basically tumor will cancers or tumors or anything malignant will never help me. Usually it will be just harming me. Okay, so in this case, the what happened is that this polycythemia vera is immature the red blood cells. So immature red blood cells, meaning that it's not what I will benefit out of this, the red blood cell would be O2 and CO2 exchange, right? That's what, and then the nutritional transport, that kind of things. That's what I would be benefit out of this, the red blood cell. But this one is immature, meaning that this will not do those good things for me. It will do only bad things, okay? So bad things, what is the polycythemia vera is like viscosity. So because this is the immature, this one has a lot of this viscosity will be very high. So in general, the polycythemia vera has a thick blood. So what does thick blood will do for me? Not for me, but against me, is basically the coagulation and thickness of the blood. So it's similar situation as the NEG, non-enzymatic glycosylation for diabetes. Okay, very similar in terms of the coagulation or in terms of thickness of the blood. Okay, so if that's high, then what's going to the EPO level? Of course, the too many red blood cells, it will just decrease the EPO. So EPO is a good thing, right? EPO is a good thing, but this is like immature cells will inhibit this EPO. So the problem is basically all of these things is immature, not good, not fully functional, or not the beneficially functional the cells. Okay. So that's something you need to know. And then another, lastly, you need to know is that tumor lysis syndrome. Okay. This typically happens in the chemotherapy, after chemotherapy, or whatever the reason that, or rheumatoid arthritis, or that kind of things, that whenever the cells will die prematurely. If cells die, then what's going to happen? What's the problem? Inside of cells will leak out, right? What's the inside of cell in terms of ions? Sodium is outside, mostly more sodium, and then the potassium is inside of the cell. Okay, so that's like the two most common the ions that is inside and outside. Okay, so when the tumor will be lysis, then potassium will leak out. So when you blood in the blood vessel, told you that everything here, when you say hypokalemia, hyponatremia, whatever, that is always measured in the blood vessel. So in the blood vessel, so cells lies here, so that will eventually come into the inside of content will be leaked into the blood vessel, right? So in the blood vessel, you measure it, potassium level will be high, right? When the potassium level is high, what's going to happen in EKG? Peak T, right? Peak T wave. So would you like to have a peak T? No, peak T is a bad, because peak T means that it will eventually becomes it's like if it's serious, that will become the arrhythmia. Peak T is the bad thing about peak T is basically the this is a normal, right? And then it's like the this becomes huge. So that's why it becomes a peak T, okay? So then this the long QT interval, it will be long QT, it will eventually becomes a torsade, and then eventually becomes the ventricular fibrillation, and then you die. Okay, so peak T is not good. So the peak T and I mean hypokalemia, and then hypoprostatemia, and then those things. Okay, so yeah, I just briefly covered the try to cover like as many aspects as possible, but that's what the just preview of what you will learn in the med 3. Okay, in terms of the human core. So Himonko is like a very, very one of the difficult subject you will see in your the med 3. Okay, but if you as I said, if you just the preview some of the more overwhelming than the others. Yes, true, absolutely true. But I told you this is like this part is a kind of really hard thing, because a lot of memorization, which I'm not really the favorite. And a lot of memorization, because it's the too complicated basically. But the if you so I recommend you to the watch some chapter 1 through chapter 5 of the Pesoma, which I highly recommend before you start the med 3 during the break. And then and maybe for Pesoma, I recommend you to really watch, not just the kind of radio, but sketchy you can watch as a radio. Okay, so sketchy just basically turn it on and all day long, and just watching while you're taking shower, going to sleep. That doesn't matter. Okay, while you're driving, no problem. But for Pesoma, you probably have to sit down and watch. Okay, so Pesoma is very, very it's kind of Bible. Okay, so hopefully this not to confuse you, but it will probably just overview of the like what you will learn in the preview of what you will learn in Math 3. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. And then the recording will be in my YouTube channel. So I'll just write down I'll just keep the channel right there. Okay. In this chat. Okay. So you just as soon as I stop recording, and then I will be there. All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Any questions? Let me know. And then we will have the